Hi there guys, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero Show with me, your host Simon Conboy. Continuing on with the NFC North draft previews, just covering the final team that for me to cover, the Minnesota Vikings, leading into this draft. Now, this team has been very unfortunate, finding out Sharif Floyd and Teddy Bridgewater, two of their recent first round picks may have career-threatening injuries. I mean, we already knew with Bridgewater, but sort of getting a bit more confirmation, same with Floyd, is very unfortunate. So, just want to throw out there, very disappointed. I like both of those players. It's a real shame. Hopefully they get better, get back on the field at some point soon. So, if you've seen one of these before, I'll basically you can try and skip through this bit. If not, I'm just going to explain what I'm doing. So, I'm sort of breaking down the team needs after free agency, heading into the draft. The top three, the sort of three positions I'd expect to be addressed in the first 3 rounds. Going through, if I've given them a mock, in the case the Vikings don't have a first round pick, who I've given them in the mock, and then other positions that could be considered, or players that could be considered at the spots they've got in the first 3 rounds. So, heading into free agency, the needs I had for the Minnesota Vikings were offensive tackle, guard, and running back. I feel defensively, they're very, very stout, and they're pretty good at just about every level. Whilst, you can always do with more depth. The offense, it needs a lot of work. So it was all offense. That really hasn't changed. Whilst they've made some work, or made some effort to try and make the offensive line work, which they had to do. It was an abomination last year. They've brought in Riley Reef, who'll be manning the blind side, which I'm not a huge fan of. I think he's perfectly competent as a right tackle. Below average as a left, and they've brought in Mike Remmers, similar sort of problem. So tackle, I don't think is necessarily a need that they're going to go for. Of course, they don't have the first round pick due to the Sam Bradford trade last year with the Eagles, so they might see some value in round 2. Potentially a guy like Dan Feeney. They do need guards, they just need linemen, full stop. I think running back is still a need, even bringing in Latavius Murray. I don't know if you want him to be a primary back, especially because I don't think this team's got any. I like the receiving group, but I'd like to see another weapon in there, because I don't think there's anyone that really scares you at this point. There's a couple of good possession receivers, even if Treadwell does develop last year's first rounder. They still don't have sort of a home run threat there, and I don't think Murray gives you that at running back either. So I think they need to try and find weapons as well, but I think running back's a bigger need. So round 2, I think, as I say, Dan Feeney, I think if he gets to them, he's certainly going to be a consideration. Donta Foreman, he'd look really good in a Vikings uniform, possibly do his best Adrian Peterson impression. I can definitely see them going for him. If he's an option, I think McDowell or Caleb Brantley are certainly options in the wake of the news with Sharif Floyd. McDowell in particular, I think, is the kind of player I can see them taking, because his talent is definitely better than, middle of round 2. Could potentially be a low-end first rounder, but because of sort of issues motivating himself and playing hard, I think we could see him selected by the Vikings. Zimmer's got a very good idea of what he wants from guys, and I think he might just fall for the talent there. He'd be really good value in round 2, even if it's not the biggest need, but I think they may see the upside there. Similar if Brantley falls to them, but I don't think he does. I think he goes earlier in round 2. Other guys, you can see like Cooper Kupp, some of the other receivers. I'd expect them maybe to target a receiver in round 3. Once again, whilst I think they need an offensive tackle, I don't think it's something they look to address in the draft. I think they roll with the guys they've got. Possibly Ethan Posick. He could be drafted into play centre or guard. Joe Mixon remains the wild card of the draft. I'm probably going to mention him in just about every video that features a team that needs a running back, because simply put, I don't know where to put him. The off the field issues are significant, and who knows where he ends up. Danny Elflin as well. He'd be a consideration, I think, in round 3. Juju Smith-Schuster, I don't think he's likely, because again, I think they've got some guys that offer his kind of skill set. A speedster would be nice. If they were in round 1, you know, I'd heavily consider John Ross for them, because I think that's the kind of weapon they could do with, especially having let Cordero Patterson go, which I understand. You know, he's not shown me anything in regards to being a receiving threat in the NFL. So those are some of the players that I think they could go for. I really think a running back is almost a certainty with one of those 2 picks, and an interior lineman seems likely as well. But I wouldn't be shocked if they take a receiver. So I think Cooper Kupp might be a nice fit there. So maybe in round 3, if he's available, I can see them doing that. And again, if they see value, McDowell or Brantley get to them in round 2, I absolutely expect them to pick up one of those 2 players. So what do you guys think of the Vikings heading into the draft? Do you think they need to look for another lineman in the wake of the news with Sharif Floyd? Do you still think it's just got to be offense, offense, offense? How much do you think the Sam Bradford trades potentially hurt them? Do you think it was unnecessary, especially, you know, given the news with Teddy Bridgewater likely to miss this season as well? Do you think they could have done better if they had a first rounder this year? Yeah, give us a shout. We've got the comment section below. You can find me on Twitter at Simon Conboy or the Cover Zero Facebook page. I'll do my best to get back to absolutely everyone who makes any kind of contact. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Got over 1,000 views now, so really quite happy with that. It's nice that people are checking us out. Appreciate some of the response I've had, so thank you very much for that. If you enjoyed the show, you know, check out some more. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. It'll be thoroughly appreciated. And as always, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for your time, and go Bucks.